I'm Nicole Versansky from 19 News. Here are the latest headlines for Thursday, February 5th, 2026.
First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
Well, we begin with your first alert on what could be a sketchy morning commute tomorrow. Certainly it doesn't look bad right now as we take a live look outside from across Northeast Ohio, but the 19 First Alert weather team is tracking snow for tomorrow. Thanks for joining us first at 4. I'm Nicole Versansky. Brian Duffy is on assignment today. So Friday and Saturday are 19 First Alert weather days. Meteorologist Andy Chillian joins us with what is heading our way.
Yeah, we've got the snow, of course, with this Clipper system moving through as early as tomorrow morning. The morning commute can be messy, and then there may end up being a little break, and then we have another round coming for the evening. So both commutes have the potential to be impacted. Not a lot of snow, 1 to 4 inches, maybe locally higher in the snow belt, but it's all about the timing. We know a little bit of snow can go a long way. You think things are fine, I can handle 1 to 2 inches, and then all of a sudden we get issues, especially if we do see the potential for some squalls in the evening commute, which is something that I do expect, those bursts of snow. Once that passes, we're dealing with Arctic cold on Saturday. Temperatures will be near zero themselves in the morning, but wind chills could be as low as 20 degrees below. It's going to get very windy starting late Friday afternoon and into Saturday morning, and so that will all lead to blowing and drifting snow. Travel impacts likely as well. For right now, not much going on. It's pretty cold out there. Some of us struggling to even get to the 20-degree mark today. Wind chills are in the single digits to low 10s. You may be seeing a few flakes fly this afternoon and evening. Nothing major with this. This is just really a precursor of what's to come, but we really don't expect much in the way of significant snow until we head after midnight, and that's when some more flakes will start flying. Temperatures falling into the teens overnight, so not nearly as cold as this morning, but the real bitter chill is what we're going to be seeing as we head into Saturday morning. So coming up, I'll have the latest on the snow tomorrow and into Saturday. I'll show you an updated snow map. Weekend Arctic chill, and then next week just gets what I'm calling messy. Yes, we're going to start to moderate, but with that, we may be dealing with not just some snow with systems passing, but some rain, maybe a wintry mix. I'll talk about what's ahead with the First Alert 7-day and your double weekend coming up in just a bit.
Well, you could be prepared ahead of the snow. You can have all that information right in the palm of your hands by downloading our free 19 First Alert app. Get live radar and hour-by-hour temperatures. A Sandusky woman was shot and killed inside her home. A man barricaded himself upstairs in that house. Then there was a tense standoff. Our Harry Boomer is in Sandusky with more information.
You're looking at 37-year-old Jerry Watkins. Sandusky police arrested him and charged him in the shooting death of a 32-year-old woman who was in this house on Sycamore Street. Police rushed to the house after neighbors heard gunshots. It quickly turned into a tense standoff.
Upon entering the residence, officers were confronted by a male suspect, learned to be Jerry Watkins, who was armed with a knife.
Police say Watkins ran to the second floor and barricaded himself inside a room. Shortly after entering the house, they found the body of a 32-year-old woman who had been shot several times. Despite first aid from the Sandusky Fire Department, she died at a local hospital.
The autopsy was conducted this morning at the Lucas County Coroner's Office, which confirmed the matter of death was from multiple gunshot wounds.
Police say Watkins apparently tried to kill himself. He had a self-inflicted wound. You can see the big bandage on his neck.
As a result of the search warrant, a 9mm pistol was recovered along with shell casings and a knife.
Receiving a medical treatment at the hospital, Watkins now faces murder charge. He is currently being held at the Erie County Jail in Sandusky on Sycamore. I'm Harry Boomer, 19 News.
The sheriff of Pima County, Arizona, says his department has been working with the FBI around the clock in the abduction case of Nancy Guthrie. The search for the missing mother of NBC anchor Savannah Guthrie is now in its 5th day. Karen Kafa has the latest.
Right now, we believe Nancy is still out there.
On day 5, Sheriff Chris Nanos of Pima County, Arizona, said there are no suspects or persons of interest yet in the search for missing 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, mother of NBC Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie.
We operate from a position that until we know she's out there, she's alive, and we're going to continue thinking that way until we find her.
The FBI noted that there has been no proof of life so far and said the agency is investigating a ransom letter sent to local and national media outlets, along with many other leads. They also sent a public message to anyone involved in Guthrie's disappearance.
This is an 84-year-old grandma that needs vital medication for her well-being. You still have the time to do the right thing before this becomes a much worse scenario for you.
On Wednesday evening, Savannah Guthrie and her siblings released a video responding to reports of alleged ransom notes and pleading for their mother's safe return.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive.
However, verifying communications or any proof of live evidence will be challenging, given the high-profile nature of the case and the proliferation of artificial intelligence tools and deepfake videos. The FBI said Thursday they have arrested at least one person for making what they called an imposter ransom demand. I'm Karen Kafa reporting.
A shocking story out of Shaker Heights. A contractor working at CVS was found dead inside a trash compactor. The victim is Andrew Strand of Brunswick. Apparently his wife called police last night because she hadn't heard from her husband. His phone was tracked to the CVS on Chagrin Boulevard. Strand's wife says he was performing contract work at that store. The medical examiner is now determining the cause of death. Cleveland firefighters believe they know the cause of this house fire in Tremont yesterday. They say an electrical issue may be to blame. The house is near Scranton Road and Agnes Court. One person was taken to the hospital with burn injuries. Other people inside that home were able to get out safely. The damage is estimated at $100,000.
This is a 19 First Alert breaking traffic alert.
We're taking a live look at the Jennings Freeway where a crash is blocking part of the northbound lanes as ODOT is moving the camera for us. I don't have any control of that. You could see somewhat that you have the right side of the Jennings Freeway northbound blocked off by ODOT crews, a fire truck, police cruisers. I'm just going to bring you over to our map so you can get a steady shot that this is what we're dealing with here. A 2-mile stretch of stop and go traffic. Again, this is on the Jennings Freeway northbound just before 71 where speeds are just 5 miles per hour across the board. So you do the math there, your drive is going to be about 20 minutes longer than usual because it is looking more like a parking lot than a highway just after where the Jennings Freeway passes through Crestline. And now you can see those backups are even before then. So again, if you're about to be heading north on the Jennings Freeway, you're going to be stuck in traffic for about an extra 20 minutes because of that crash causing 5 miles per hour for a 2-mile stretch. A couple other crashes that we're dealing with. This one in Parkman, still slowing down drivers who are heading towards Main Market Road and Madison Road. Speeds here just under 25 miles per hour, whether you're heading south on 528, 9 miles per hour on 168, and drivers on Route 422 also seeing some significantly slow speeds.
First at 4, new developments in a high-profile battle over health care in Cleveland. The head of Metro Health is doubling down, saying Cleveland Clinic's attempt to open a level 1 trauma center will actually hurt the community. Catherine Huntley has the story.
Today, Metro Health's CEO strongly advocated against the opening of a level 1 trauma center across town at Cleveland Clinic.
This is a reckless and potentially very dangerous plan for our community. More is not better when it comes to trauma care.
Currently, Metro Health is one of 2 level 1 trauma centers in the city. CEO Christine Alexander Rager said trauma teams need high repetition to be at their best. In fact, she says adding a new level 1 trauma center will dilute the talent level of all trauma teams, meaning it would put the community at risk.
We can expect outcomes to decrease, meaning worsen. We can expect mortality to increase. We can expect costs for everyone to rise.
Dr. Alexander Rager made the comments as part of her annual State of the Hospital System address. The hospital is expecting the final 2025 numbers to have them in the red by about $48 million, and that's after laying off 125 employees last June. But Dr. Alexander Rager says it could have been much worse.
Operationally, we landed in a much better place at the end of the year than where it was predicted at the end of first quarter. That looked pretty dire.
Metro Health is not expecting layoffs this year and plan to open a new 300,000 square foot outpatient center on their main campus in June. We reached out to Cleveland Clinic regarding Metro Health's comments on their plans to open a level 1 trauma center. As soon as we receive a response, we will update our story on our website, cleveland19.com. In Cleveland, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
Well, let's think summer. Cedar Point is hiring more than 7,000 people for the new season. Some of the ride jobs include ride operations, food and beverage, security. The park will host a job fair February 14th through the 22nd at its training center in Sandusky. Cedar Point opens for the season on Saturday, May 9th. They are fugitives on our street when they need to be in a courtroom. Dan DeRose is back for the second of this week's Cuyahoga's Most Wanted.
There's a reason when you are a Tier 3 sex offender, the most egregious of our tiers, that you are supposed to be checking in and registering with your local county sheriff's department. When you don't do it, well, that's going to get you on Cuyahoga's Most Wanted. Let's walk through the case of Ty Nathaniel Diggs.
In 2024, Ty Nathan Diggs was pled guilty to sexual battery and gross sexual imposition, and indictments indicate that he forced the victim to perform several obscene acts against their will. As a requirement of this plea, he's required to register as a Tier 3 offender with the Sheriff's Department, and he has failed to do so, so warrants were issued for his arrest. He also has a warrant with Garfield Heights for noncompliance. He's approximately 6'1" and 155 pounds, and we do not have a last known location for him. Makes it even more imperative that we get help from the public to locate him.
Detective, this is about cleaning up our streets. It's about getting justice for the victims and their families. It's also about a reward of up to $5,000. And what do you like to remind our viewers?
That crime doesn't pay, but Crime Stoppers does.
And it's very simple. 216-252-7463. That call goes to Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County. They don't record the call. They don't even have caller ID. They don't want your name. You're going to get a reference number. You call back in and find out if it was your tip that led to arrest. And to Mr. Diggs, I say, we have a 78% capture rate, directly or indirectly of being on here. 78% of all the fugitives we have featured have ended up back in the justice system where they belong. Mr. Diggs, good luck.
Caught on camera, a driver arrested for DUI admits to driving with 3 children in the trunk. Take a look at this. This is in Westminster, Colorado. Police say when they pulled the driver over, the officer immediately noticed the smell of alcohol. After putting him in handcuffs, he told officers there were kids hiding in the trunk.
So you have 3 kids hiding in the trunk?
Yes. What are you guys doing?
You didn't think that would have been a good idea to say something before?
Luckily, those children were unharmed. Several bottles of alcohol were also recovered from inside that car. The kids were released to family.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Pair of 19 First Alert weather days tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday. And we're looking at both snow and then bitter cold. That is going to be what happens on Saturday morning as temperatures drop to near the 0-degree mark. But it's the wind that's really going to be a problem as we start our weekend. So tomorrow we have a Clipper system moving through. It's coming from Canada. Then we'll travel through Michigan and then reach our area in time for the morning commute. We could see a few snow showers. Then there'll likely be a break. And then we have another round coming with an Arctic front during the evening. That can impact your evening commute. And then a little lake effect to follow. Yes, we can still get lake effect. There will be more cracks on the ice as the wind picks up this weekend. And we will also be seeing a fetch from Lake Huron. So in general, we're saying 1 to 4 inches of snow. There could be some higher amounts in the snow belt where that lake effect is maximized. But wind is going to be a problem, both with blowing and drifting the snow around, and also with these cold temperatures. So we could see gusts up to 45 miles per hour. I'd say the period of strongest winds is going to be from late Friday afternoon into Saturday morning, and then that will lead to a bitterly cold Saturday morning with temperatures already near zero. Wind chills will be as much as 20 degrees below zero. Here's our wind chill tracker showing that. I'm going to start with tomorrow morning. It's not too bad. We'll be in the single digits, but we'll be, of course, looking at the snow by that time. Look at these colors, though, just getting really dark as we head into Saturday morning. That shows you we are going to be seeing feels like temperatures, in some cases close to 20 degrees below zero. So this is the type of dangerous cold that if you don't have to be out in it, please don't. And if you have to be, make sure you're dressing in several layers. Remember your pets as well. Sunday morning, still pretty cold, not as bad though as Saturday morning, but we'll be seeing wind chills near, if not a bit below, the 0 degree mark. And then Monday morning is looking fine. So as long as we can get the roadways cleared in time, wind chills not a concern. I'd say all systems will be go for kids headed back to school on Monday. Maybe not what they want to hear, but at least the wind chills will not be too much of a concern to start the upcoming work and school week. All right, here's a look at First Alert Future View. Maybe a few flurries flying this evening. Not anything major happening until after midnight. We track the snow showers scattered around to start the day tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the teens and 20s, so no problem with this snow sticking. Some of the steadiest snow may actually be going south of the Cleveland Metro now, but we'll still get it there. Don't be surprised if you see a lull in the action come early mid-afternoon tomorrow. With temperatures getting near freezing, roadways may actually be fine. But look what's headed our way by 4 or 5 o'clock. This could be a squall right in time for the evening commute, a burst of snow. 6 o'clock, it moves to the south and east, and then you got these fingers showing the lake effect behind it. And look at how bitterly cold it's going to be Saturday morning as we're into the single digits. So we do have the opportunity for tomorrow for a couple rounds of that snow, and things could get messy for both commutes. How much snow are we looking at? 3 to 4, maybe locally higher amounts in the snow belt. Cleveland, I'd say we're right around that 2 to 3 inch range, maybe a little higher on the east side and lower end of that range on the west side. We'll say 2 to 3 though for areas like Akron. We're right on the line there. I would say more around 3. Same thing from Medina down to Canton. And then we've got 1 to 2 inches further south. So overall, watching those couple of days. Sunday, a few flurries still possible, as is Monday. Tuesday, how about that? Above freezing with dry conditions. But next week and into the Valentine's Day weekend, more chances for not just snow, but we could toss in some rain and just a wintry mix overall as well.
Now to your top 4 at 4, a threat in Lorain County. The dozens of police cruisers would be impounded is over for now. So the county leases the cars from Enterprise. The Deputies Association says commissioners were behind $57,000 in payments. Today, Lorain County Deputy Association says payment was authorized for that back money, and the vehicles, at least at this time, are no longer subject to be repossessed. Sandusky police arrested a man after a deadly shooting. Officers responded to a home on Sycamore Street last night. They found a woman who had been shot several times. Police say Jerry Watkins III was inside the home, armed with a knife. He barricaded himself in a second-floor room. After a brief standoff, officers took him into custody. The woman died. He was treated at the hospital for injuries to himself. Investigators believe the missing mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie is still out there. They have not, however, identified any suspects or persons of interest. The Pima County Sheriff in Arizona today said that DNA tests showed that blood found on Nancy Guthrie's porch was, in fact, Nancy's. The FBI is also offering a $50,000 reward for information that leads to Nancy and the person who took her. Today's update comes 5 days after she was reported missing from her Tucson home. New video just into the newsroom after part of US 20 was shut down in Elyria this morning. So you can see Elyria police. They were chasing an armed carjacking suspect. The car stopped. Police say the engine actually failed. It rolled to a stop right on the side of the road. That suspect, here he is, Desmond Lewis, refused to get out of the car, but did surrender after a half hour of negotiations. Sports diplomacy took center stage today at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan, with Team USA getting a pep talk from the official presidential delegation.
You already got yours? Okay. You need one? All right, great. Thank you.
Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio greeted U.S. athletes in Milan, wished them luck. Vance is leading the U.S. delegation at Friday's opening ceremony, which also includes his wife, Second Lady Usha Vance, Secretary Rubio, the U.S. ambassador to Italy, as well as former Olympic gold medal winners.
I hope you win as many medals as possible, but most of all, I just hope you enjoy the experience. The whole country, Democrat, Republican, Independent, we're all rooting for you and we're cheering for you, and we know you're going to make us proud.
After Italy, the vice president will visit Armenia and Azerbaijan to show support for a peace deal brokered by the Trump administration to end decades of conflict between the two countries. Breaking at this hour, 10 train cars, some carrying liquefied propane, derailed in Mansfield, Connecticut today. At least 5 of the cars landed in a river. There are no injuries. Right now, there's no indication that the cars are leaking. There is a shelter-in-place order for those in about a half-mile radius, but no evacuations. The Department of Energy and Environment Protection is on site. Also breaking, a Camden, New Jersey firefighter has died after falling into the Delaware River and getting trapped under the ice today. The firefighter was performing maintenance on one of the department's boats when he went under. There was a massive rescue effort, but it took about 30 minutes to locate him in the river. 30 years without sidewalks. 30 years of kids with no walking path to school. That's about to change. First at 4, Isabella Roberts shows us why neighbors say this $310,000 project will save lives.
Well, do you see all of this snow right here? It's covering up something that's actually not there, sidewalks. Elm Street has gone a long time without them, and neighbors say it makes walking here dangerous in any weather.
It's dangerous, and we've been playing Russian roulette long enough.
Cherise Quigley has lived in Paynesville for 30 years.
We raised our kids in this house. Now we're raising our grandchildren.
Her family used to ride bikes on Elm Street. Then she said one of her kids had a close call. Now they avoid it completely.
We would take the Elm Street route. One particular day that we were trying to avoid a car that was driving pretty fast down the road, and my son plowed right into a mailbox.
But that's about to change. The city received a $310,000 state grant through the Safe Routes to School program. The money will build sidewalks from North State Street to Lighthouse Point Drive, a route kids take to Elm Street Elementary. This week, City Council approved the project, and the city can now hire a contractor. Soon, families like the Quigleys will finally be able to walk Elm Street safely.
I know it's going to be inconvenient, for residents. I understand that, but it's going to be worth it.
The city will now advertise for bids from contractors, and once a contractor is selected, we'll have a better idea of when construction will begin. In Paynesville, Isabella Roberts, 19 News.
A jury just convicted a sex offender accused of kidnapping a woman at knife point. They found him guilty. Jamie Triplett abducted a 31-year-old woman last September from the Roadway Inn in Jackson Township. He forced her into a car, drove to another motel. The woman was found safe the next morning. Triplett was released from prison just months before this kidnapping. He will be sentenced Monday. President Trump is defending his administration amid criticisms of tactics around immigration and voting. Erica Brown has more details from Washington, D.C.
President Trump told guests at Thursday's National Prayer Breakfast he is not going to fire Kristi Noem. The Homeland Security Secretary has been under fire since the shooting deaths of Minneapolis residents Alex Preddy and Renee Good.
Why would I do that? We have the strongest border in the history of our country.
But Democrats say they will not fund DHS until the Trump administration agrees to reform its immigration enforcement tactics.
Not one more penny for ICE until we get some restraints in place.
Reflecting on Minneapolis, the president told NBC News his administration could use a softer touch, but said they still have to be tough.
I'm not happy with what happened there. Nobody could be happy, and ICE wasn't happy either. But I'm going to always be with our great people of law enforcement.
President Trump is also standing by his Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. The president has said he sent her to Georgia to look into election interference. Now he says it was Attorney General Pam Bondi who wanted her there.
They say, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Why is she doing it? Because Pam wanted her to do it. And you know why? Because she's smart.
Gabbard was on hand as the FBI raided the Fulton County Election Center, seizing voting records related to the 2020 election.
What the heck's going on here? You know, she is foreign intelligence, not domestic. Criminal investigations.
Trump, who insists he won the 2020 election despite losing court battles asserting that claim, now says Russia or China may have interfered. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
CBS News has learned President Trump plans to unveil his Trump RX platform this evening. It's a website where people can order prescription medications directly from manufacturers. A 19 crime alert. Police are looking for these people you see in these pictures. Cleveland officers say suspects used a stolen credit card to buy food at the McDonald's on Lorraine Avenue. So these pictures, they were just released. Apparently this crime happened in October, though. They're really trying to find these people now. The card was stolen earlier in the day from a vehicle at West 105th and Thrush. So if you recognize anyone in these pictures, Cleveland police would like to hear from you. I'm Nicole Versansky. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe for the latest headlines every weekday. And a reminder, tomorrow is a First Alert weather day as more snow moves in. Be sure to download the 19 First Alert weather app for up-to-the-minute updates.